So I'm going to give you some key tidbits with working with dry ice. Now, dry ice experiments are really, really fun, but there are some key things that you need to know before doing one of these experiments or object lessons in the classroom. So 1, make sure you know where to pick up the dry ice. Dry ice is found, in some places, but it can be hard to get a hold of sometimes. Sometimes you need to plan ahead as well. So make sure that when you go to get dry ice, that you call the company ahead of time, that it's actually on site versus having it delivered there and then you have to pick it up at a particular time. Just because the life expectancy of dry ice is very short. Also, always order more than you think you need because, again, dry ice, life expectancy is very short. If you have about a 20-pound bag, it'll last you about 2 days. So if you order it on a Friday, you'd be able to get through an entire weekend. But again, it is very, very short-lived, and you want to make sure you have the proper storage space and everything like that for dry ice. So dry ice is best kept in a cooler. You want to make sure that that cooler is a very good one and that you have it slightly, and I mean very slightly, propped open or you will break the cooler. Please do not put dry ice in a freezer or in your freezer at home, especially a really nice one. You're going to break the seals on it, and we don't want that to happen. So cooler is the best method for storing dry ice. You can even put other ice around it. That's really good choice to do, but make sure that that cooler is a good cooler. So we have our dry ice here, and anytime when handling dry ice, first off, I always get the pellets. But then I like to use leather garden gloves. That is the best for me, just because if you do use like outdoor gloves, like winter gloves, it tends to stick to the fibers on the gloves. Not unless you are doing the Boo Bubble experiment, you definitely want to use gloves or winter gloves for that. But with any other experiments, please use the leather gardening gloves when touching the ice. So again, this is very, very cold. As you can see, it's been sitting here for a bit, so you have a little bit of snow there. But I always put dry ice in an open air glass container. When I mean open air, it cannot have a lid that is sealed, because if you put dry ice in a sealed glass container, your container is going to crack and break. So again, dry ice will give you, will actually burn you. I've actually done that myself. It really hurts. So again, please use the gardening gloves. So the best way to use dry ice when maybe you're just setting up a display for a harvest party or you're doing a science theme object lesson. You definitely want to use, again, open air glass container and use warm water. Not boiling water, but water that's, like a tea water, like you would have a cup of tea with. You definitely want it that warm. And it only takes a couple pieces of dry ice just to get this started. And if you're just looking for an effect, go ahead, put some food dye in the bottom in there. It'll make it blue or red or whatever color you're looking for, and it'll just kind of buzz away in there. Now, dry ice, again, once you get it in there, it's kind of fun. It is fun to play with. You can just, again, play with the smoke that comes out, but kids also like to touch dry ice. So you have to remind them, again, when you're using a container like this, you cannot hold it by the bottom because the dry ice is cold and the hot water is hot. So again, you're going to get a little burnt if you do that. So again, make sure that you have a container where you can hold it off to its side. Nothing like a nice tall container like this is ideal. So again, you can use this to talk about the Holy Spirit or just how, the Spirit flows through you or how God works in you. And how it's always there, but you have to have, maybe like when God enters your life, He activates the water in here. You can make this like this, but just plain water does nothing. So dry ice, again, is really cool. There's a couple different object lessons that you can do with it, but just remember to plan ahead, be safe, and to have fun.